estamos en la hora de comida, un break con cuernitos. Cuernitos. Lo grabé. Ay, no lo grabé.
No puede ser, en serio.
Hola, ¿cómo están? Bien, bien. Lo siento que no hablo español, pero un poco I try a little bit. But for the most part, this presentation I will give in English. I want to thank, gracias to the festival for having me. This is my tres años, see, the third time I've been here at the festival, and I always have such a good time, and the students and animators here are fantastico. And I look forward to the next few days to talk to you, and if you have questions about the studio, please ask me, come up and ask me. I'm happy to answer any preguntas from you. Okay, so today I want to talk about a little bit about our studio, Laika, and I'm going to talk a little about our films, 3 films that she mentioned, Coraline, Paranorman, the Boxtrolls, but mainly want to focus on Kubo and the 2 strings. Ay, caramba. Okay. So then we go to, so if you can read this in English. So the quote is that this is from the president of Laika, Travis Knight, who owns the company, and he talks about how we embrace technology as well as art and craft. So in addition to the technology, visual effects, 3D animation, we are focused on stop motion, so it's that fusion. From marketing, we like to do things that are additions to the advertising. Does that make sense? Like when you go see a trailer of a movie, sometimes they just put only the trailer in the movie and then you see everything. We like to add things to the movie to make it look more interesting. Does that make sense to everyone? And it's very effective from a marketing standpoint because when you use things like this and things that can be shared on, so that when you use things that are creative, that move, that are interesting, then people share them on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook, everywhere. That's a good way to help with the marketing, is to diversify our marketing. So if you guys are filmmakers, and even everybody knows Graco here, I encourage you to take pictures of behind the scenes of what you do. That makes sense? You show what you do. In America, maybe here too, they talk about how in math, you're supposed to show your work when you have a math problem, and the teacher, the profesora, they like you to show your work. Do you know what I mean? Yes. So that way they can see how, and when you show your work when you're doing animation or any art, it helps with the marketing of your art because you can share it later, and sometimes you can put your own work on YouTube, and guess what? It's like free advertising. These are all the characters that were in the movie Coraline, and this is what it looks like when we create the puppets and the costumes for the puppets. So people will ask, ¿Cuántos Coralines para producción? And I think we had 29 different Coralines made for the movie. This is an armature from the Boxtrolls. This is Egg's character, and feel free to move it, and it's fragile, I don't know how you say fragile. Pero I want you to move it and take pictures because this is very similar probably to what you're making. These are printed faces from the Boxtrolls. You can see what they look like, and also take the pictures, and as we talk, I'll explain how this all works. This is what it looks like when you break up the Coraline face and all of our puppets' faces. On the inside of the face, there are 70 parts to the face, and this is what it looks like when it all is broken up. That's only for example, reference, and then CG drops in layers. And we use this dry ice, and it looks realistic only for visual reference. Okay? And then we shoot it on a green screen, and then we can drop in layers like this. Okay, that all makes sense? see camera moving and the animator. There's the standard rig that's on the back of Snatcher's character. And again, shooting a lot of green screen in the background, backdrops. Like this, we'll shoot an entire scene in stop motion on a green screen, and look what you can do. You can drop in backgrounds, layers, look at the sun, or the moon, and the clouds, buildings, smoke. Again, tons of green screen, because we're doing compositing. Water. All composited characters. Lights. Water. Trees. Integrated with the puppets. Here's a puppet with a rig and composited thing coming after him. People and destruction. There's a great example of CG and stop-mo interacting. Monkey walking on rigs attached to these giant sets. 4 puppets interacting. This is called the Hall of Bones. And this skeleton that you're about to see, 18 feet tall. The actual puppet is 18 feet tall. 18. And his wingspan from arm to arm is 24 feet. This is called the Garden of Eyes. These gigantic creatures, underwater creatures. And the boat, as you can see, composite boat, water. Water became a really, really key element in this movie. Rain and the ocean coming together. You can see all done in CG, but you have puppets interacting when they're held up by the rigs, like this. Again, underwater shots. One practical puppet. That puppet on the right there is 12 feet tall. 12 feet tall, and then the rest of them are CG. The size of this set that we shot this on is about 1/4 of the size of this room. Okay, key moment here. You have Kubo facing off. That thing is called the Moon Beast. It's an underwater creature that was completely made on a 3D printer. Everything in that puppet was printed. And it's all practical, so it's not CG. It's a puppet you can hold in your hand. Water. hair, the way the hair is moving. Again, the hair department created hair. The rigging department figured out ways to make the hair move and animate. Rain is always a big challenge, obviously, too. Water, realistic looking water was also really important. So that kind of gives you an example of one of our things all done in that version there. Thank you very much for being here today.
Para terminar el día de hoy vamos a ver la selección oficial de los participantes que entraron a la tercera edición del Festival Stop Motion México. Espero que la disfruten y que se diviertan.
No diré gracias por invitarme y adiós.